everybody. My name is Gregory Santiago, and welcome to Your Medicare and You with a spin today because we're not going to be talking about Medicare. We're going to be talking about life insurance. And in this case, because you wanted this information, I brought you a wonderful professional person that is going to talk about the difference between a final expense and a pre-need insurance. And back again, welcome to Your Medicare and You. If it's the first time you've seen us, we have several topics. You can look in this directory, press more, and you'll get a library of different topics that you can go. They're 5, 10, 15 minutes. The longest is about 30 minutes. But it's not the time, it's the content. It's what you get when you listen to one of these. What this podcast is doing is giving you the tools, so you can make an intelligent decision. And that's the reason I have a friend of mine. I can consider her a friend. Even they were attacking me on Facebook. And I guess who came up defending me? Lisa!
Always. My friend's I've got your back.
Her name is Lisa Wish on Day. This Puerto Rican accent, I mean.
It's hard.
I know, but I know her by Lisa. She's a professional in the industry. And I'm so glad for you to be a guest in this program today.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
And this is the first time. This is not a cameo appearance that you disappear no more. I would love to have you back and talk.
We would love that.
There's so many topics to talk about that they need to hear about.
Absolutely. And with my company, Field Division Insurance Brokerage, we cover so much of that
Yes.
you're talking about. So we can.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Lisa, let me ask you something. I know you got into medical industry because of your heart, but let me ask you, why did you get into the life insurance? What was the purpose of that?
That's really interesting story. So when I grew up as a child, my real father passed away when I was 7 years old. And although we weren't very wealthy at the time, so we didn't know the difference of, not having life insurance because of it. So it didn't affect us as much besides the morning. But then when my mama got remarried, she married an entrepreneur. And where we had several companies. So we had a siding company and a car dealership, bar, and just lots going on, and all the toys we could ever imagine, and houses on lakes, and just had it going on. And he was killed when I was 12. Well, even though he was a brilliant entrepreneur, he did not think about life insurance. So then I discovered the difference between the haves and the have-nots real quick. So everything had to be sold to cover the expenses for the business. So we moved to Massachusetts from Tennessee, and my mama took a job working as a hairdresser, which my mama didn't have to work before that. So now my mama's going out of the house, right? And she's making $100 back in those days. That was probably good money back then. But when you're raising teenage children, that's not a lot of money. And so, massive depression kind of sets in and everything. But thankfully, I had been going to church on Wednesday nights, and I had been saved while that was all going on in Tennessee. And so you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. And just walking me through. And I always just felt like I was being guided from that. And so, long story short, when I graduated, put myself through college, paid for my own college, had to work through everything, had to go to a community college because it was what I could afford. And I mean, I paid for everything, my own first car, paid for all of my own expenses and everything. So,
that's the way you are, like you are.
That's it. Self-made for sure. But it was all a great learning experience for me, and then I sit back and I look, I'd started my own company, went after being an entrepreneur like my stepdad. Started my own company and it was great, had a very successful company, but it just didn't feel like it was where I needed to be. And so I actually just closed the company down and decided to go into financial industry because it just was, I was being pulled towards it for some reason. I didn't really know why. Person on my shoulder kept saying this. And So I went into banking, didn't want to be a branch manager, asked them to put me over on the side instead of managing,
Mhm.
and started talking to the financial advisor and figuring out all this stuff. Ended up really just falling in love with the insurance and thinking to myself, man, when this one lady walks in, her husband just passed away. I actually literally saw the car accident, drove
Mm.
by it the night it happened. And then 3 weeks later, she comes in with a check for $500,000 going, "Do with this." And we were able to help assist her in making sure that that was gonna cover her for a long, long period.
Yes.
And then I reflected back on my life thinking, "Man, if my dad had had that, our lives could have been
Different.
completely different. I wouldn't have had to struggle through college and stuff for that, you know?" So it makes a world of difference. So I just my whole life, I think, has led me where I'm at right now. It took, I took the 40-year route of walking around
Yeah.
the forest figuring it
Mhm.
out, but
But now you know it.
but I am right where I need to be, right doing exactly what I love and
Yes.
every day as seniors. Now we do
Right.
concentrate our company mostly for senior citizens, but we do life insurance for all ages.
Mhm.
And because it's very important, I mean, the ladies
You don't plan.
and
Mhm.
yeah, and just the other day I saw a car accident on 610 where the car just blew up and went up in flames right there. Because it makes a world of difference. For $100 a month even, sometimes less, sometimes a little bit more, and depending on how much you want, how long you're keeping it, or if you're doing whole
Mhm.
life or term life, it makes a big difference
Different.
in your family that you're leaving behind.
This
So they don't have to not only be mourning your loss, but they can also be taken care of financially and not have to be struggling financially at the same time.
when I started in the industry, I learned that life insurance is an act of love.
Oh, it
You're doing
is.
it not for you. You're doing it for the loved ones, for the ones you leave behind. And
Absolutely. It's the best gift you can give.
the best gift, uh, I seen it. I saw one person died and he left $3 million, 1 million for each of the sons,
Wow.
two daughters and one son. And I was, woo. Even when I was selling, I saw this uh, customer. He bought a huge, I don't want to talk the number, policy to give 500,000 to each of his grandchild. So when he died, he said, I don't need this. And he paid to lead them set up for the future. This is what people,
That's beautiful.
so this is what it's all about. And we need people to live experience that can, how do you say, uh, empathize what the needs and you can understand what's going on and why you're doing this. Well, time goes back. This is the beginning. Lisa's gonna come and go in depth, but let me tell you, Lisa, is the same life insurance and a pre-need insurance or
No,
final expense.
no, not quite. So, final expense is excellent because you do leave some cash back behind for your
Hmm.
family to take care of some things that maybe you didn't even think about.
Hmm.
Old credit card debts or things of that nature can be very helpful. Prepaid funerals or pre-need funerals, where you go in and you actually design your own funeral. You pick what you want. You pick your songs. You pick who's going to speak. You pick however
Pallbearers,
however you want to do it.
yeah.
If you wanted,
Hmm.
if you want to have a traditional funeral, if you want to be cremated, and
Cremated.
you get to pick your own urn and
Yes.
everything. So those things you have to remember. You don't want your family having to think about that during their time of grief and wonder, oh, is this right? Is this what they wanted? Would they wanted to wear this? Did they want to wear their rings? Did they not want to wear their rings?
Yeah.
You don't want them to have to think about all those little details at that time.
Yeah.
And so the best gift you can give is to have all of that taken care of in place, prepaid, and it's a lot less expensive to do it ahead of time than to wait. Funerals are going up 7.5%
Year after
yearly.
year. Hmm.
Yes, every 7 years they double the cost of it. So if you were to take a final expense policy just for your funeral and you did it when you were 20, that's not going to cover you if you
No.
die at 70.
Hmm.
Okay. And so you paid all this time and they're going to have a little bit of money, but it's not going to cover your funeral at that point. So prepaid funerals, meaning you still pay a monthly fee, but you lock it in at today's
Yes.
rate
Hmm.
and it's paid no
Yeah.
matter when you die. So I always recommend doing both to give them a little extra to take care of whatever comes up that they may
It will.
need,
Hmm.
but then take care of funeral expenses. That's really
Mm.
one of the better gifts.
Yes, when it's final expense, life insurance, pre-need insurance, let them cry because they're missing you. They're hurting, not because the mess you left behind. Because
Right. Don't make them
this,
do a GoFundMe. And yes,
yes, and calling everybody, people. I mean, it's kind of. One time I was talking with. It's kind of embarrassing this, but let's say you make to put it easy, $10,000 a year, and in 50 years you make 40 years working, you make $400,000. Let's put in it, you know, ridiculous, and you don't have $10,000 for a funeral.
exactly.
I mean, and it's, you know why? Most time it's because nobody sit down and talk with you.
Nobody
about
explained
it.
it to you.
Explain it to you. The options, the affordability.
And there's lots of we are in a brokerage company, so we have several options on
Yes.
pre-needs. We have several options on final expense, and we have over 35 carriers for life insurance that we shop for you. So you're not having to call each one of these carriers. We do that.
You do the homework.
Absolutely. And there's no charge for our services to the client.
Mhm.
We get paid from the companies. So, it doesn't cost anything to have us to help you.
Yes. So what I understand is life insurance final expense is important, but also the pre-need is important.
Absolutely.
One cover one thing, the other one cover the other. And because of the topic is so interesting, I'm gonna have to make another appointment with you guys and have you come back. But then we're gonna talk about pre-need and final expense separate, and that way you, my guest, can get the information that you need. And remember, Lisa is right here in this directory. Look her up. You can type her name. You can see her name underneath on the display. Her picture. You can look the company or her name.
Pull up our website.
And her information will pop up. She will answer your questions. She is somebody that I trust, and I know she will take care of you. And time made us run. But you know what? It's better to leave wanting you more than bore you. So I am so glad that I had Lisa here in the house today.
I appreciate you having us.
2021. This has been recorded in December 2020. It's going to be for 2021. But let me tell you, she's going to be up to date. Doesn't matter when you listen to this. 2022. 2023, she's going to be up to date with the information that you need.
Absolutely. We are constantly doing our seminars and our webinars and making sure that we know everything that's coming.
Yes. Well, I just want to say stay safe. And until the next time I see you, God bless you.